Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus Channel. Across the vast rural landscapes of China, livestock herding has been a way of life for centuries. In northern and western regions, such as Inner Mongolia, Liancha, Gansu, and parts of Xinjiang, sheep herding remains deeply tied to local culture, food production, and rural livelihoods. For generations, families relied on open rangelands, seasonal migration, and close knowledge of terrain and weather to raise their animals. While traditions remain, modern pressures have steadily reshaped how herding is done today. China is home to one of the largest sheep populations in the world, numbering well over 160 million animals. This enormous flock plays a critical role in national food security, supplying meat, wool, and dairy products to both domestic and export markets. Mutton is especially important in northern China, where it features heavily in regional cuisine. The scale of production means that even small improvements in efficiency or animal health can have a major economic impact. In recent decades, sheep herding has undergone a transition from purely traditional pastoralism to more modern and intensive methods. Government policies aimed at preventing overgrazing and desertification have limited unrestricted grazing on open grasslands. As a result, many herders now combine controlled grazing with fenced pastures, supplemental feeding, and permanent barns. This hybrid system allows families to maintain productivity while reducing environmental damage. Despite these changes, daily routines still revolve around the rhythm of grazing. During spring and summer, sheep are typically released in the early morning, often shortly after sunrise. Grazing hours can last 6 to 8 hours, depending on weather and forage conditions. In some areas, the grazing fields may lie several kilometers away from the main barn, requiring careful planning and coordination to move the flock safely. Transportation of livestock has become an increasingly important part of modern herding. When grazing land is separated by roads, rivers, or developed areas, herders must find safe ways to move animals without disrupting traffic or stressing the flock. One practical solution that has emerged is the road transport cage system. Gates are installed at the rear or sides to allow controlled loading and unloading. The cage can carry multiple sheep at once, reducing the number of trips needed. The road transport cage is a mobile livestock enclosure mounted on a small truck, tractor trailer, or farm vehicle. Constructed from steel tubing and wire mesh, the cage is designed to provide ventilation, visibility, and containment while remaining lightweight and durable. Loading sheep into a cage is a careful process. Herders guide small groups toward the gate, using calm movements and familiar routines to avoid panic. Sheep are naturally cautious, so experienced handlers allow them to adjust before entering. Once inside, animals are positioned evenly to maintain balance during transport, and gates are secured to prevent entry or escape. Crossing a highway is one of the most critical moments of the day. Rather than driving a loose flock across busy roads, the road transport cage allows herders to move animals safely and quickly. Vehicles stop briefly at designated points, and the cage is driven across in a single controlled movement. This reduces risk to both livestock and motorists, highlighting how modern tools improve safety in rural operations. Throughout the day, shepherd dogs play an essential role. Trained from a young age, these dogs help keep the flock together, respond to commands, and deter predators. They assist during loading, guide sheep along paths, and ensure stragglers do not wander into dangerous areas. The bond between herder, dog, and flock is built on trust and constant interaction. As evening approaches, the sheep are brought back to the barn for the night. This return marks the end of a long but carefully managed day. In today's rural China, sheep herding reflects a balance between tradition and adaptation. By blending time-tested knowledge with practical innovations like the road transport cage, herders continue to sustain their flocks, their land, and their way of life in a changing world. Animals are unloaded, counted, and inspected for injuries or illness. Feed and water are provided, and gates are secured against predators and harsh weather. In the heart of the Philippines, on a sprawling farm, thousands of elite roosters are being meticulously bred and conditioned for the ultimate test of strength, the Derby ring. At 3D Mahiwaga, where over 700 game fowls are housed, Farm manager Alberto Mauricio and his team follow a rigorous regimen to ensure their birds are primed for competition. From specialized feeding programs to intense schedules, every aspect of these game fowls' lives is engineered for peak performance. With 2 hectares or roughly 5 acres of land, 3D Mahiwaga operates like a high-performance training camp. The farm is split into different areas, including conditioning zones for roosters preparing for an upcoming derby and other segregated sections for stags. These are young roosters between 10 and 11 months old who undergo a different training regimen. Each day begins bright and early at 4 a.m. when the caretakers rise to feed and train the birds. Morning inspections ensure that every fowl is in peak health and that the land itself is carefully maintained to prevent deformities that could impact a rooster's ability to fight. Nutrition is a key factor in raising elite game fowl. Gamecocks and stags receive different types of meals than regular farm chickens. Their diet is tailored to their energy needs, and they receive special high-protein feeds and vitamin supplements. Those training for cockfights have a different set of meals compared to the regulars. When he conditions cocks for the derby, the feeding process is completely different. The farm also keeps a stockpile of medicines, including antibiotics for sick roosters and preventative care to ensure every bird is in prime condition before stepping into the ring. The preparation process at 3D Mahiwaga is both scientific and strategic. Derby cocks don't enter competition until they are at least 3 years old, while younger stags begin their training at around 10 to 11 months. To prepare, they take daily walks under lights to prevent disorientation in brightly lit arenas. Flying and running drills on smooth surfaces to strengthen their legs and wings. Every 4th day, Mauricio puts them through sparring sessions. And after those sessions, the birds receive baths to soothe muscle fatigue and promote relaxation. The game fowls Mauricio deems unsuitable for the competition are placed in a different section and fed standard meals, while the top contenders are prepped for upcoming matches. Beyond strength and stamina, appearance matters in the ring. The farm enforces strict hygiene and grooming protocols to keep roosters looking sharp. They receive feather trimming for a battle-ready appearance, as well as bottom trimming to prevent waste from sticking to their feathers. There's also talon protection to prevent injuries before fights. For many, cockfighting is more than just a competition. It's a deeply rooted cultural tradition. There's a dual nature to the sport. While it is highly competitive, it also fosters a sense of community. The Derby nights bring together trainers, breeders, and fans, all watching to see which elite roosters rise to the challenge. In another part of Southeast Asia, the Binh Tre province of Vietnam, birds are also the focus of farm workers. But here they are, ducks, and they're being used for a very different purpose. By combining duck grazing with rice cultivation, farmers in Vietnam have unlocked a natural cycle of soil enrichment, pest control, and egg production. Hugh is a farmer who manages a flock of 4,000 ducks that's constantly on the move. On average, Hugh's ducks lay about 3,000 eggs per cycle, a production level that remains high due to their nutrient-rich diet, made possible by grazing in rice fields. Every 10 days, the flock is moved to a new location, ensuring fresh feeding grounds and optimal soil fertilization for rice farmers. Of course, moving thousands of ducks across provinces isn't simple. Farmers use modified trucks with special ramps and netting systems to safely load and unload their flocks. The process is a spectacle. Ducks are lured onto the truck using food and familiar calls. Special ramped platforms allow them to waddle up while nets prevent escape. Once secured, the truck carries the flock to the next destination. Upon arrival, the ducks are gently guided down ramps into fresh fields, where they immediately begin foraging. Once released into rice paddies, the ducks graze on leftover rice husks, weeds, insects, and small worms. This is a win-win situation for both the birds and farmers. Their movement aerates the soil, and their droppings act as natural fertilizers, enriching the fields for the next rice planting season. And this method is eco-friendly. It reduces the need for chemical fertilizers and pesticides, making it a sustainable alternative in rice production. These stories reveal how rural communities across Asia adapt tradition to modern demands. From Chinese shepherds blending age-old herding knowledge with safer transport methods, to Filipino breeders applying disciplined training and care to game fowl, and Vietnamese farmers using ducks to naturally support rice cultivation, each system reflects resilience and ingenuity. Though the animals and environments differ, the goal is the same: to sustain livelihoods, protect resources, and pass practical knowledge from one generation to the next. Together, these practices show how agriculture continues to evolve while remaining deeply rooted in culture, community, and the rhythms of daily life. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.